saw these high tides in California, pushing water up to the shore in San Francisco, and South Florida is no stranger to king tides. Check out the water-covered roads in Miami Beach last year. Unfortunately, these higher than normal tides are expected up and down the eastern seaboard this week.
So let's kind of break down the king tide, what it is, and they basically occur when the orbits of the Earth, Moon, Sun, they align, part of the seasonal high tide cycle for many locations, and they occur as many as 6 to 8 times a year. Typically, they cause some minor flooding like you just saw, but they can be worsened by coastal storms if the coastal storm happens to move through right as the king tides are happening.
Right. So how do you protect your home and property from this type of flooding? Joining us now is Tiger Dam CEO Paul Vickers. Paul, I'm so excited to learn about this because especially in Monroe County, Florida, they see these king tides every year. How are they able to prepare and plan for this type of high tide flooding, year after year?
They do a great job. They do a very good proactive approach to it. I think they're a great example for many communities. What they do is they take tiger dams, put them out in advance of a high tide, king tide, and they put these temporary barriers along their different roadways, property lines, protecting critical infrastructures. And then they wait for the king tides, of course, to pass. But as you mentioned earlier on there, they 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year, and they can go so high, combined with your already rain showers. It can be very, very difficult to manage that water. And I think they do a super job with it.
So to kind of break down what we're looking at here, it looks like almost kind of like a balloon. This whole thing stretches out. And do you fill it up with water?
Yeah, they can be filled with water. They can fill with a mud slurry. They can fill with concrete. We use different applications for different reasons, of course, with king tides and other, hurricanes and things like that. So they put a temporary barrier up. Think of an elongated tube that can go from 1 meter to 30 meters high. 30 feet high, and it's a very a good approach to versus sandbags. As you know, many people over the last 500 years have been using sandbags, and tiger dams are a great alternative to sandbags.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. What is the downside to sandbags and the upside to these tiger dams?
Well, if you're an environmentally conscious person, it's a great idea to use tiger dams. Sandbags are not reusable. Tiger dams are reusable for many, many years, and that's when king tides don't go away. They're coming back every year, and it happens, as you mentioned, 2, 3, 6 times a year from California throughout the Florida and southern U.S. Gulf and all the way along the East Coast. There's many, many problems with it. I mean, it's scary. I don't know if you know this, but the worst king tide ever is 70 feet high. So there's a lot of problems out there with king tides. We have to be very careful.
So if I'm a homeowner and I live close to, an ocean view, can I myself use a tiger dam, or is this only for, big municipalities and, counties and such like that?
Well, it's a great question. Many communities do use tiger dams and use them often. And many people out there, individual homeowners, are always wondering what I can use besides sandbags. And of course, you can go online. We sell them through Amazon. You can get tiger dams for your home.
Oh, you can? Okay.
That easy.
That's good to know.
Yeah, Paul Vickers, Tiger Dam CEO, thank you so much for joining us this morning and enlightening us on that.